Scottie Scheffler joins us now on day 2 of the 105th PGA Championship. Scottie, a 2 under 68 for you today. Could you maybe summarize your round for us?
Yeah, I felt like I did a good job of grinding today. Had some nice up and downs and kept the course in front of me for the most part. Didn't hit as many fairways as I would have hoped to, but still to shoot 2 under, especially on a day where the rough got really wet. It was pretty tough to play out of. To post a number today was good solid golf.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll start with questions, beginning with Dan.
You mentioned the rough getting thicker, but it did seem like the course softened a little bit. Do you feel like the rain made it a touch easier? Because most of the guys up near the lead were in your wave.
Yeah, I would say the rain definitely made the golf course easier when you're executing. When you get out of position, I think it's just as challenging, just because the rough is so wet, and there's certain places where you would be able to advance the ball a lot further if the rough wasn't wet. But when you're hitting good shots and hitting fairways, the golf course is definitely more accessible this afternoon, just because the wind kind of died down and the rain was on and off. But mostly it was just due to the wind dying, I would say, because the fairways didn't really seem like they softened up much to me at all.
Mike 4?
Yeah, Scottie, obviously you're tied for the lead right now. Does your mindset change at all going into the weekend?
No. Tournament's halfway done. I had 2 good days so far, and I'm just hoping to continue that as the week goes on.
Mike 12?
Hi, Scottie. Well played. Just a quick question really about, you say when you show up for tournaments, events, you always try and keep the best possible attitude at all times. But how challenging is that when it's so tough out there and more rain to come? It must be really challenging.
It's very challenging, but I feel like on a golf course like this, I'm just kind of one swing away from getting everything back together, and you get rewarded for good shots out here, and if you execute, you can birdie pretty much any hole. Granted, it's going to take 2 pretty incredible golf shots to do that, but it can be done. It's not impossible, and so when you can kind of hang around the lead and stay in position and hopefully wait to get hot, it's a good position to be in, and I've done a good job the first 2 days of keeping the golf course in front of me and scrambling well. Tomorrow I'm hoping to hit a few more fairways than I did today, make it a little easier on myself, but ultimately 2 under is still a good round around this place.
You never seem to give too much away in terms of your exterior, but what's going on inside you at times?
I mean, I was just trying to grind today. Like I said, I wasn't hitting as many fairways as I hoped to, and so this golf course can get pretty challenging with stuff like that, and I made some good pars out there and took advantage of a couple holes there on the back 9, and I'm in a good position going into the weekend, but other than that, I don't really have much to say.
Let's go Mike 5, followed by 8.
How'd you feel the end of the front 9, last 4 holes we're playing today?
End of the front 9, last 4 holes.
6, 7, 8, 9.
6, 7, 8, 9. That was a point in the round where I felt like the rain was really coming in and out, and 8's really the only gettable stretch in there. 6 and 7 were brutally tough. I mean, 6 is probably the hardest hole I've ever played. I don't know what everybody else is saying or the scoring average, but it's pretty stinking hard.
Why is it so hard today?
It's hard any day. With how firm the fairways are, your line off the tee is right on the edge of those bunkers, and the ball can go through when you hit a good tee shot, and just challenging. And then if you don't hit the fairway, you really can't hit the green in 2, and so it's just a hard hole.
So you probably wouldn't be surprised to hear that it was the hardest hole in PGA Championship history today.
No.
Scottie, you've been in this position now a few times over the last 2 years. Does it get any easier, or do you find at least you're more comfortable, contending so often, especially in the big tournaments?
Yeah, I find myself comfortable in these situations. These are the positions that I want to be in. I want to be near the lead. I don't want to be in 30th place or going home. I show up to these tournaments to perform at my best, and I'm proud of how I did the first 2 days, and I'm excited to be in a good position going into the weekend. But with that being said, I'm just going to keep my head down and keep doing what I'm doing.
Was it uncomfortable at the beginning when you finally did get into this position, and did you have to, actually, kind of fight through that at all?
I just think that golf's a difficult sport, and that's pretty much it. I mean, golf's pretty hard, and so I just show up and do my best each day and see where that puts me. And recently, it's put me in some really good spots, and I'm proud of that, and I'm hoping to continue that moving forward.
Great, Doug.
Can you give us a sense of difficulty in the challenge, like just being a couple yards off on 18 in that rough? What are you able to do with that ball? How tough is that?
Just try and get it up there near the green somewhere. I thought I had a lie good enough to where I'd be able to get the ball up onto the green, but I swung really hard at a 4-iron, and the ball came out with a good amount of speed, but with how wet the rough was, just couldn't get enough height and spin on the ball. And I mean, if you're barely off out here, you're going to get punished pretty severely. And it's just a challenging golf course, and it's fun to play just because of how difficult it is, and it's a grind.
Do you find yourself in attack or conservative? I mean, is par a good score here, but you say you could birdie every hole. How do you not risk?
You can birdie every hole.
I didn't say you should.
Yeah,
Scottie.
you can. You can birdie number 6, but it's pretty challenging. No, I think I just try and stay patient out there. I'm not thinking conservative or aggressive. There's certain places where I can attack, and there's certain places where I can't, and whether that's having a comfortable number where in terms of going after a pin, or having a number where you guys may think that it's a place where I should be attacking, and I don't really love the way the shot looks, so I'm going to play a little bit more conservative. But all I do out there is just pick my lines where I'm comfortable and just try and hit good shots.
Have you ever been on the border this week of being impatient?
Not really. I think once you get impatient around this place, you're going to try and birdie every hole, and then that's when you're going to start digging yourself a pretty deep hole.
We'll wrap it up on 9.
Thank you very much. Scott, I know you're doing your own thing out there, but was there any thought to seeing Gary Woodland, such a good golfer and good guy, struggling the way he is? You're ever thinking, like, hoping to get together and make the cut or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Gary's a good buddy of mine. I grew up, he's one of the guys I grew up learning from at Royal Oaks. He used to take from my coach, Randy Smith, and I used to sit there and watch him hit balls for a really long time, and he was always very kind and let me hang around him and learn from him. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just hard. Golf's a difficult game, and sometimes you don't have it, and sometimes you do. And I mean, Gary's obviously a very talented player and a major champion, and so it's strange when you see a guy like that struggle, but it's part of the sport. I mean, you see the ebbs and flows of guys over their careers, and it's just a difficult game, and it's just part of it.
In this situation, do you do anything as a playing partner, or you just let him do his thing, or how does that work?
I feel like everybody stays in their own little world out there. We're all competing against each other out there, and Gary's staying in his own little space, trying to do his best. And anytime someone hits a really good shot, there's always a good compliment coming their way. But I wouldn't say we're talking too much about the round of golf when we're conversing between holes. It's more just random other stuff.
Thank you very much.
One more from Doug.
Real quick, Scottie, what's the worst you got out of position today, and what do you consider the best kind of recovery from any bad position?
It's probably all on 17. I hit an okay tee shot there that was just a little bit too far right. Probably would have been in the rough if it hadn't hit the trees, and it hit the trees and went like 50 yards over there into the rough. And it was a hard shot for me to be able to get the ball back in the fairway, and so I figured I'd just try and get up there around the green somewhere. And since the rough was wet, the ball didn't come out as high as I thought, and so I wasn't able to slice my 3-wood enough. So I had like 50 yards at a pretty thick rough to a tucked pin, and I got up and down, so it was definitely best recovery of the day.
All right. Thanks, Scottie. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, y'all.